All right, guys, as you can see, another large push here on the CPI. We finally got some momentum movers up here. We had a couple scalps to the upside here. Now we are looking at some shorts. We are at the 1618 for the CPI, right? So we have a 1618 from this algo right here and 1618 coming up from, I'm sorry, 618. I keep saying 1618. From this GP, that'll be where the next big resistance is. But right now we have an algorithm 1618, right? So algorithm 1618 puts us at a pullback zone to get to the 50 fib of the data candle. So this is the algo that we had discussed this morning, posted in chat on the fibs. Coming up to the 1618, we'll generally find some resistance at the 1618, come back down to potentially 513. So we do have that top pick now from just the algo candle. And that's what we picked up on the top here on ES. Now, the golden pocket of the CPI is way down here at like 6014. I don't know if we're going to run that or not. Obviously, we like to take profit as we get back down. But we wrote a couple up there, took a couple shorts, covered right away, took a couple, and then now holding 5. So we got the first scalp out of the way. We're holding 5. And now we are going to come back down to hopefully 2 different targets there. We have the data candles top right here. Now, again, we already finished the bottom and we completed that. So I'm only looking for something that hits the 1618 and then just right to the 100 fib. That's target, okay? P1. So we don't want to go anywhere too crazy with this trade, but what we have right here just from the algos and purely how we play here, this 1618 tag should come back down to the 100. We do have support on, obviously, the CPI candle, but I think the algo will get respected for backtesting Fibonacci first, and then we can pay attention to the data afterwards. So this algo box, and I know we usually fib out here, right? And then same thing, it's going to be 50% retrace. And that kind of comes close to, not as close as I'd like, to the 50. So the 50 point of the CPI right here. That'd be cool if the data candle would be here, but a little bit lower than that, could potentially come. But we do have a good setup right here at the 1618, so that's why we took the trade. And again, 514.37 is a great 1618, and I'm playing the ES off the Qs, which we only have an ES, or we only have a QQQ algorithm. So obviously, when the markets will move together during CPI, they're not going to have a lot of divergence with this volume. So I don't have to look at the SPY and go, oh, we don't have any algos, we have nothing to use, blah, blah, blah. They're going to move completely perfect with each other in times of CPI. It's just not going to do anything else. So what we see here as well, 666, that's the double gap zone right here. There. So that could also be used for the pullback because we have nothing in the CPI zone. So my chat knows this very well, where we have a data candle here with no golden pocket anything tag. So the candle was created right here as a fib box. It tried to push out. Usually it'll fail. We're hitting a 1618 on the QQQ resistance side, which will drag SPY down. And this will hopefully kill off that trade and we'll come back inside. Our fib box will come down to a golden pocket that has no tag. So rare to leave no tag here as well. So, how did our order get way down there? Must have bumped it here. Joop. Okay. So the rarity of this trade right here is very high. So with a fib box like this, notice the candle for CPI, breaks out, boom, fails the push, right? Comes down under 598.26 again because it needs to hit golden pocket right here, 1618 to 3820, because there's no data. If you look at that tall candle that CPI designed right here, notice that the next candle is way up here. That's the next candle. So there was no tag of the golden pocket, no tag of the VWAP, no tag of the 10 SMA. So the algos will drag this back down inside the CPI candle because there's no golden pocket, and we'll come back down here to the GP. Now, the ES is going to be a little off of what we see on SPY. So as always, I trade the SPY on ES. So I'll look for this red candle to smash into the VWAP and or golden pocket between 597.40 to 597 flat. And that will be where I take my cover. And that will be how we trade after the data. Easy and slow and controlled here. A little bit of a long live trade, but you get the point. So with this failure here, now our over-under becomes 598.26. Not that we're worried about it, but it's going to be reactive to even if it pops up to a lower high, we will get that continuation. Okay. And with that being said, the ES's golden pocket, where we have this order near 6015, also be a fill. It's just going to not be as clean. A lot of the time we play a little catch up on the SPY, where ES has been leading underneath its candle for a very good amount of time here, and same with the SPY, but we're going to lead one or the other. So generally speaking, the SPY is the slower one. It's got to catch up because ES is open all night. All the moving averages are a little different, and then as we get closer to open, we recalculate and so on and so forth. One of the other things that are really keeping us in the trade here, I didn't mention either, is we're obviously going to have an impulse zone and reaching all-time high body. So if you watched our last couple videos, which hopefully you are, here's an ES trade or chart that we are looking at. Remember, we said short off the body of the all-time high. Well, look where we're back to right there. All-time high channel, boom, 60.29, just like the last video that we talked about. And of course, the impulse range. So when these bands impulse outside, we usually come back to band range. So again, we're going for that 60-15, 60-13, 60-12 area. Look where those bands are. Same exact place. And we're having multiple indicators telling us that, yeah, we totally got a chance to come back down. Because once we impulse outside of a Bollinger Band, Keltner Band range like this, we have to test band range. Even if it wants to go back up, that's fine. But the short is what we want. So we found a super high viability resistance, which was the all-time high body, which we had already used. That's a nasty one, right? There's not much data above that. So we came back up to that, and that's why we shorted, again, just another metric with the fibs, with the extension of the 1618 QQQ, right? ALGO. So all those things leading up to the same exact price. We're stacking indicators like the QQQ ALGO, the ES all-time high body, 1618, 598.50 here, and the failure of 598.26. That's all going to get us back down to the golden pocket, and we didn't have to worry about which way CPI went. It's stress-free after we see it actually hit levels. So we sit on the sidelines, we don't play much, and then we just play the trade accordingly. So we're going to come back down under that 100 fib, right? Momentum, GP. We're going to go for 60.15. Now, if we pop one more time, it's still an add point. Like if I took off 3 here, locked in, and then it came back up, grab another 3, there's a lot of range there, right? And the volatility index, obviously, it's going to get crushed for a bit here and then kind of turn back around, because I don't believe the CPI pop, as far as I can throw it, we do need corrections. We do need more or less down to the 10 SMA daily, in my opinion. So I don't think any of these pops are really going to hold. Back to the long side, I'm only playing the pop to short, as we discussed earlier. And again, we called the 1-minute algos on NQ. I have another live trade video of that. And that was up to 21,189. So that was a pretty gnarly 60-70 point ripper on the Qs. So with that being said, we'll stop the record here, and I'll get you right back on the live when we come back down to all of our targets, as we should get a snap candle back down to the GP, and we'll close out this trade. It'll be great. All right, guys, just coming into the record again here as we're coming into the first little glimpse of the golden pocket. As you see right here in ES, and of course we've just tagged, like I said, VWAP and 597.40. So that's our first range of, hey, we totally made it. The trade's complete. We obviously got about 3K in the trade, so this is generally where I like to just hop out. I'm always out early. It doesn't need to fill right to the golden pocket. We made 12 points
Order
there
filled
on ES. So $3,000 lock in there to start the day. 3790.80 total with all the scalps. I was playing some tiny ones before for about $700. And now it's going to come back down to that GP range, as it will go lower here. I'm always just out a little bit early, and especially on CPI. I would much rather run into a GP pop and then, grab another short than to just gamble another, 3 points or so after we already hit 12, right? So we could have locked a little bit, let a little bit slip, and we're probably going to come back down. Well, not probably. We are going to magnet back down to that golden pocket, but regardless, $3,000 trade, nothing to shake a stick at. We nailed her, so that was perfect. Tune in for the next.